Join me while I transform my son's bedroom from this into something that's much more cozy and has a gamer look to it. My name is Sarah, and I like to take things that are ugly and beat up or pulled out of the trash and make them beautiful again. Welcome to my channel. My son has been begging me to redo his room, and since I just finished my daughter's room, it's obviously his turn now. But I've been dragging my feet because I've, 1, lacked inspiration, and 2, dreaded the cost. But I got inspiration, and I'll share with you what I was able to do to kind of recoup the cost of this room, so it kind of cost me nothing. Now, for inspiration, we redid his bookshelf in a previous video. I'll link that below. And because it's freshly done, I figured we need to stick with this color. We're not going to repaint the bookshelf, and the bookshelf needs to look nice when we redo the room. So I started with this green and picked a main color for the walls off of it and went with that, and you'll see as it comes together. Now, always we got to clear everything out when redoing a room and patch the walls. And once I got all the walls filled with drywall putty, and then all the trim filled with wood filler and dried and sanded, we're ready to paint. Now, for my paint, I went with satin for the walls and semi-gloss for the trim, and I decided to do kind of a drenching where I'm doing the same color because I'm doing an accent wall in green, and that is also satin. However, I thought I bought Valspar paint. But now looking at this video, I see that I indeed bought Sherwin, and I had no idea while painting. That's really funny. The cream-colored paint did not go on very thick. I was disappointed, and it probably needed a second coat. However, the stubborn side of me was like, nope, it's 1 coat only. I'm not doing it. So I only painted 1 coat of paint on all of the trim. Now, when it came to the walls, and I put on the first coat of paint, granted, I only bought a small, a quart size can, when I should have bought a gallon. So I was trying to make the paint stretch, and it was not thick on the cream color at all. And I had to go back and buy another can of the same color paint. When I paint a wall, I like to do a section at a time. I get all the way down to the bottom and then just roller from top to bottom. I feel like it makes the paint lay very nicely. Now, when I got to the green, I had to do it very thick, and I was able to get the 1 coat, and I was happy with that. But when it all dried and I had my 2 coats of paint on, I ran out and I couldn't do like the corners, and you could still see the blotchiness, and I was like, well, I'm not going to go buy more paint. That was a stupid amount of cost in paint. And the color drenching, I was like, I don't like this. I feel like the trim needs to be a different color. But I had this gut, yep, this is what I'm doing, and I decided to stick with it. I did not change the trim. I didn't want the time that it would take to do that either. And we're just going to go with it. And I'm like, it's going to come together. It's going to look great. Trust the process. Some of the points of interest I'm wanting to put into this room to just tie all the design in together. One is a floating shelf. That may not be the right word for it because there's these like pipes that hold the shelf up so you can see it. So maybe it's not floating. Anyway, the pipes were left over from a video where I redid the cafe at my church. I'll put that link below as well. And I had 1 set of pipes left. So I went into my garage and found a old board that was pretty decent. I had to rip the nails out, but I was okay with it being kind of beat up, because it's a boys' room, and it's a pipe shelf, so I'm like, this can look a little rustic. I just needed to, square off the edges. At this point, I didn't know how long I wanted the shelf because I wanted to get everything in and get a visual, and I don't do that online pre-design your room online stuff because I feel like that'll take forever, and I hate staring at a computer. So I just go with it, and that's how I roll. So I cleaned this board up, and this was like the only board that was nice. So I was like, I have what I need. Like, everything's falling into place. Thank you, Lord. This is awesome. So I cleaned that up, and then I sanded it down. Not super picky. I think I just used a 220 grit sandpaper. and got it smooth. And then I also had this Danish oil left over from that same project before at my church and was able to use that to stain this wood. This project had a lot of things just come together. Like, I was tickled pink about, I went to the thrift store on a day that happened to be half price, so I got all the decor for his room mostly for like $35 when it would have been 60 something. I had the wood for the shelf. I just everything fell into place. It was beautiful. It's like to me it feels like a reassurance of the Lord going, yes, I want you to keep doing this stuff. This is good. It's a good thing to do. So and it blesses my family, so it's all good. I did take the hardware or the hinges off of the closet door and the bedroom door because I'm going to paint them like I did at my daughter's room, just painting them black because I'm going to paint the doors black. That was the other color that I'm adding in, which is also why I kept the paint trim the same. I thought it would be too much if I had black doors, cream walls, white trim, green accent wall. I was like, this is too much. We need to simplify. So I also built my own handles to custom make handles for his closet door out of wood. And I'll make a separate video to go into a whole tutorial on that. But essentially, I bought some boards, cut them down to size, glued them and screwed them together, and then screwed them onto the doors. I also stained them with the Danish oil so that it matched. Although I think these are both pine, but they stain differently. It's very interesting. Now, I have these holes in my walls throughout my house in different locations, and I see people patch them, but the same door is going to be in this room, and that same lock knob is going to smash another hole into this if I just patch it. So I decided to buy these circle things that probably don't look high class and probably are cheap because they are, I don't know. But this is my boy's room, and I just needed to not make a bigger hole. So I covered it, and it's not the same color, and it's done. It's going to be behind his door. And then I'm done with that. There we go. Now that the walls are painted, the doors are painted, it's time to put up the new furniture. So I bought him a new bed frame. I bought him a new desk, and then the knick-knack thingies from the thrift store I bought a lamp for the desk, and that was mostly it. But the way I was able to pay for this was I sold his bed. I sold his sister's bed, which some of that money went to flip her room. And then I had an extra bunk bed from the grandparents' house that I sold, and I had a couple other things that I sold from the house that gave me enough money to be able to spend on his room, so that it was kind of a wash. It didn't affect our bank account, essentially. And so that makes this feel a lot better, especially going into Christmas time when all your money's going into presents and fun Christmassy things. So that was another thing that just fell into place, that just all worked out. Now, this was really fun. And hanging the stuff in the walls, I used a laser level. I've never used one of these, and it seems like magic to me. I see them in other people's videos, and it's like, ooh, what is that fancy thing on the wall? I need to use one. And this made my job so much easier. In that video for hanging the shelves, it took so much work, and it was so quick. And it's funny, in this shot, the line does not look level. It's the camera angle. It is not unlevel. Like, it is a level line. It looks good. Don't worry. Don't freak out. But this laser level is a game changer. If you hang stuff and don't have one, I highly recommend it. I bought it off BitFTA for like, I don't know, 10, 20 bucks. It was awesome. It's also on Amazon. I can link all of this stuff from Amazon because like everything's from Amazon that's not from the thrift store. Even the pipe for the shelving, that was an Amazon purchase. And I have a video on how to hang these pipe shelves, so I'm not going to go into that here, but I just know I hung them. I put wall anchors in. It's nice and sturdy. It'll be great. Elias already had this pegboard frame, which these are also not cheap, and I bought this off BitFTA for years ago. I had trouble with this, with getting the hanging stuff that came with the pegboard to work. I ended up going with these drywall screws to anchor this into the wall, and I really hope it's strong because I really don't want that falling on my son in the middle of the night. Cool things with this and the things that I bought, I said this room would have a gamer look, is a lot of these things have lights. So I put lights around the pegboard, I put lights around the desk came with it, I put lights around the bed frame. That also came with it. And the bed frame came with glue, and I used it, and that was the dumbest thing because it has sticky tape that like comes off. Don't use the glue if you buy this bed. Just use the sticky tape stuff. Just pull the sticky tape off. I don't know why it came with glue. It doesn't say in the directions. So anyway, let's look at where we started. And I am so excited for you to see how this turned out. It is my favorite room in the house right now. Granted, it's only the second room that I have done anything to. But I am so excited with how it turned out. Both my kids love it and think it's awesome. I hope you enjoy it too. Enjoy this final reveal. Thank you for coming along with me in this journey. I love sharing these projects with you. Enjoy, and I will catch you in my next video.